The Bullpen with DA.
Barnes been trying to put him away. Got him looking. Fastball inside corner.
Struck him out. He struck out the side. What a job by Arnsma.
Get about the curveball. Give him a heater.
Swing and a miss and a fastball at 96 for strike three. David Arnsma reaching back for a little something extra, and he found it.
I'm in the zone, man.
Here are your hosts, David Arnsma.
Court's in session with the DA, David Arnsma.
And James the Greek.
The Dodgers get Bauer, the rest of the NL teams cower, and the Mets fans are sour. All that and more on this edition of The Bullpen. Welcome to The Bullpen with DA. I am James, and joining me as usual, my trusty sidekick, Mr. David Arnsma. DA, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm in New Orleans, trying to enjoy it, trying to live the dream down here. And it's Mardi Gras weekend, so I'm going to be having some fun.
What are you doing in New Orleans other than partying for Mardi Gras?
Yeah, so I'm down here with Top Velocity, and I'm maybe doing a deal with them. We'll see.
A deal? Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
So Brent has said hello. For any of you bullpen catchers who followed us the first time around, you might remember Brent. Great dude. You know, he's the head of Top Velocity. Definitely a guy that you should check out if you have any inclination towards pitching, if you will. All right, DA, I have been waiting for a good week because it is finally time for me to pat myself on the back. I'm going to say that I'm the king of the world because, again, when it comes to contracts, there is nobody better than myself. I am the greatest. Yes, I know I have a giant ego. However, I think this time even you can agree that I hit one out of the park.
Yes. And it pisses me off to say this, but I know you did. Go ahead. Enjoy gloating.
Trevor Bauer is headed to L.A., as I predicted. Okay, it might have been the wrong L.A. team, but he headed to L.A., and he got himself the biggest contract per year in Major League Baseball history. In the first year of this contract, he is going to get the exact number that the Greek prognosticated, $40 million. DA, what do you have to say when you hear that number? And it came out of my beautiful mouth. I want you to name one baseball pundit out there who said he was going to get $40 million.
The first thing I want to focus on, the fact that you even used the word prognosticator. Again, 3 years ago, I gave you crap about this. Secondly, I got to give you credit. Hey, man, I got to give it to you. Like, good job. Congrats. You nailed it. You killed it. Yeah, I thought it was going to be the Angels too. But the Dodgers, I mean, I didn't see that coming until people started like predicting the Dodgers Mets, and that was all it was down to. But man, like, that's incredible. That's a lot of money. And the Dodgers throwing it out there. They're going for it. Again.
And he's going to even make more money the second year, because the second year of the deal, he's going to make $45 million. Now, granted, he did sign a 3-year deal. He's going to get, quote unquote, he's going to get $17 million in the third year. But he has an opt-out after the first year, after the second year. There is no chance in hell he's ever going to reach that third year. So baseball fans, get rid of that. It doesn't happen. He basically signed a 2-year, $85 million deal.
Right? Like, yeah, don't even third year, nothing. He won't even, that will, unless he like totally like will never be able to throw again. He'll take that. But no, like, it's an amazing deal. It's a ton of money, man. Like, he's going to go out there, like, he's earned it, you know, like, and you know what? He got what he wanted.
Mr. Union, is the union happy that he signed a short deal with such a high value?
Yes. I think they love it. I think they're big fans of it. Now, while, you know, like, people want to talk about like those long-term deals and people like throwing down those huge numbers that the people sign up for, at the end of the day, all they care about is the AAV. What did you earn? What are you getting every single year? How can we put that number out there? That's what progresses the next player. And that's how the next player makes their money. It's not on that huge long-term deal. Like, yeah, like, some players get those. It's that annual average value. It's like, what are you getting every single year? And then, and he's killing it. He absolutely set a new mark for starting pitchers winning the Cy Young. Like, the next player is going to come around and use that number. because the next player who will win a Cy Young, honestly, will probably have had a better career overall. And so they'll be able to use that number as a benchmark for their average, how much money they should make every year.
I'm trying to think. In the last episode of The Bullpen, there was this guy. I'm trying to remember who. And he said that long-term deals were going to go away and you're going to see really high average values like you see in the NBA. Who said that? Who could be so smart at predicting the future?
Yeah, you keep calling yourself smart. Just wait. They're not going to go away. Long-term deals are going to keep coming. I'm sorry. Like, you're going to hang your hat on this, on the guy that wanted a short-term deal, got a short-term deal. Keep hanging your hat on that. Long-term contracts. He's 30. What was he, 30? Like, if he was 25, he wouldn't be signing a 2-year or 3-year deal. Okay, 3-year deal, a 2-year deal. So, in all reality, like, if we go back and say Felix Hernandez was 25 again, right now, going off of that money, like, he'd be still signing a 10-year deal, an 8-year deal, something long-term, because they're going to still want to lock in young players for long terms. It's just now he got exactly what I wanted. Bauer's gone about this totally different. He's gone about it from day one totally different, and at the end of the day, it's totally different.
All right, I'm just saying, I'm a genius. I really haven't had a chance to talk to you about this. Usually we'll talk almost every day and we'll talk about baseball because that's what we do. Did we discuss the fact that he's going to have to get shot in the nuts?
You know what? We didn't get to talk about this, and I'm excited. He's talking about all the time wanting a 1-year deal, and then like all of a sudden he came out and saying, "I did it because I want to get shot I don't want to get shot in the nuts." And if anybody hasn't heard it, he made a bet and said, anytime anybody signs, if I ever sign a long-term deal, multi-year deal, I got to get shot in the nuts by a paintball. Like, that's what he's saying now. I can't wait. You got to do it now, right? You said you'll never do it. Now you signed a long-term deal, so go get shot in the nuts. Make us all happy.
I have a great idea. You want to do something great for kids and really promote baseball? This is what you do. You auction off the ability to shoot Trevor Bauer in the nuts, and the winning bid gets to shoot him in the nuts, and that money goes towards building a little league stadium for somebody.
How many Mets
Now
fans
that is wonderful.
How many Mets fans are going to sign up?
I would give anything for Steve Cohen to be the bidder on that and win and get to shoot Bauer in the nuts.
You're talking about positive publicity for Mets? That's something. Oh my God, this is amazing. That's something that, like, that's kind of a Mets thing to do. Like, we're the underdogs. We're kind of like the blue collar team. Like we kind of got like shafted by this guy. Go get yours.
Shoot him in the shaft.
Yes.
I love it.
I love it.
Trevor Bauer, if you have the brass ones and you really want to help people, put this up for auction. Ards, how much would you put up? How much would you spend to shoot him?
Well, knowing my aim, I'd miss. So nothing.
So it's going to be just like you pitching all over again, right? Ball after ball after ball.
I would go pay-per-view to watch it, though.
How much would you spend to watch this on pay-per-view?
I'd go $150.
You'd spend $150 to watch someone shoot Bauer in the balls with a paintball gun.
If I knew that I wouldn't be able to see it otherwise, I would do it. Because nowadays, like, you just wait 10 minutes and you're going to see it anyway. So why waste the money? But like, if I knew I couldn't watch it in any other way, I'm paying $150 to watch him get shot in the nuts.
I want to bow my head and pray to the good Lord Mickey Mantle. Mickey, if you're up there, please inspire a promoter and make this happen. I want to see this be a pay-per-view. Thank you.
Please.
So much more to talk about with this Bauer deal besides him getting shot in the nuts with a paintball. He is making more money this year than the Pirates, Orioles, and Indians are paying their entire rosters.
Is that real?
That is real.
That's hard to believe. That's incredible.
That's sad.
That's sad. The Indians were in the World Series a couple years ago, and they've been fighting for the pennant almost every year. That's tough, man.
God, just gave away their two best players. I mean, that's what's going on over there.
Wow, man. Like, I get it with the Pirates. I get it with the Orioles. They're rebuilding. They're going to come back, obviously, I think, with what the Orioles have done with their whole front office. Obviously, like, they're building in the right way. Ben Cherington, who hired me, by the way, with the Blue Jays, like him going to the Pirates, I get it. Like, those are two franchises you kind of have to do that stuff with, especially with, well, namely with how the AL East is. Like, they got to start from scratch. But man, like the Indians, that's surprising. It almost like it's one of those things like you don't realize like how quickly they've fallen down. How much talent they had there just a couple of years ago, and now we're here. Yeah,
I mean, here's my problem: the union doesn't want to admit it, but there's a salary cap in baseball. You know, so if there is a salary cap in baseball,
big team, small team.
Yeah, but if you're going to do this deal where you have the luxury tax and every team but the Dodgers is adhering to it, why not have a floor? You need to have a salary floor so that you don't have these teams paying players nothing for, you know, if you're an Orioles fan, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I would have a hard time if I'm an Orioles or particularly a Pirates fan. You know what? I would have probably the worst would probably be an Indians fan. I'd have a hard time going to that team. I'd have a hard time going to those games, especially knowing how close the Indians were just a couple of years ago, and then seeing them there. At least like the Orioles and the Pirates, you know it. They're out there. They're making it really clear that they're rebuilding, that they're going about this a better way, and rebuilding the entire organization. The Indians had a strong organization. They had a strong team. They were the team people were trying to be. They were trying to be the organization everyone else wanted to be was them. And now they're at this point. I'd be pissed if I'm a Indians fan.
All right, let me ask you this. You know, it's all fine and dandy. We know the Dodgers they were stacked before this deal with Bauer. If number one, you know, who's getting bumped so that Bauer can pitch? Because they have an amazing amount of pitchers right now. But number two, they were supposed to win that division anyway. They're the defending champs. If Bauer doesn't go over there and dominate in the playoffs, is that $40 million right down the toilet?
They are paying him to do that, yes, to dominate. Like, you don't get $40 million without being able to dominate. Like, if you look at this rotation, you got Kershaw, you got David Price, you got Dustin May, you got Walker Buehler, you got Urias. Like, he better step in there and dominate. Like, I'm looking at, like, the only guy I can say, I guess, maybe David Price you're bumping from that rotation, maybe Urias, maybe. Like, I wouldn't want to. So you have to dominate. You have to walk in and just own teams. And you have to own, particularly, you have to own the Padres. Like, the Padres have made a ton of moves. They've really, really, like, pushed themselves up to that upper echelon of teams. Like, last year, they were competitive. Next year, like, they're going for it. So, like, you have to beat them. If you don't beat anybody else, you have to beat them. And they're paying Bauer to go out there and do that every fifth day and win in the playoffs. Anything less than that, like, you're not getting your money's worth.
I just love the fact that the highest paid player in baseball isn't the opening day starter in LA.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? Like, what's Kershaw making?
Kershaw? Let's see. What is Kershaw making? He's making $23 million.
Okay. What about like Price?
Yeah. Clayton Kershaw is the third highest paid pitcher on that team.
Wow.
Because David Price is making $32 million.
That's a joke. Like, that's incredible. Like, the best pitcher in baseball, the best pitcher for the last 10 years, Clayton Kershaw, right? Like, maybe right there with Verlander and Scherzer, right? Like, he's incredible.
DeGrom, thank you.
DeGrom. He might be the best pitcher in Dodger history, right? Arguably.
It's either him or Koufax. That's it.
And he's the third highest paid pitcher on their team right now. And I'm sorry, but, like, Bauer had a great year last year. Awesome. But he also had a great first half in 2019. So he had a great first half in 2020. That doesn't mean he's a great he's not that much better than Kershaw. And like honestly, I'd almost take Kershaw's year over Bauer's. It's arguably the same. So when you sit there and like this guy is the third highest paid on his team, he's incredible. Like I think we all kind of forgot about that. You know how good he is and how solid he's been. His bad years are Bauer's really good years.
There are a lot of pitchers that I'd rather have over Bauer right now. All right, maybe not a lot, but there's considerable amount. Would you rather have Kershaw?
Yeah.
Would you rather have Scherzer?
Yeah.
Would you rather have DeGrom?
Yes.
I mean, we can literally go around the league. I mean, that's three right there that are immediately better than the $40 million man.
I would say this. They have shown the career to be a lot better. They've shown the years. They've shown the consistency. Like Bauer, awesome, great job. Like he won the Cy Young. I will never be able to take that away from him. Nobody can ever take that away from him. And he had an amazing year last year. He had an amazing third of a season last year. Right? Like that's exactly what it was. It was 60 games. So it was a third of a season. And so for me, like my money, like, yeah, the Dodgers are going for it. They spent a ton of money. But man, like there's a lot of other guys like I'd rather put my season on the line with. At the same time, you can't argue with the third of a season he had. It was pretty amazing. It was pretty good. You know who had a pretty good offseason, though, is his wonderful agent, Rachel Luba. I mean, you know, a few months ago, nobody knew her name. Now, all of a sudden, she's one of the big wigs. She's going to walk into winter meetings next year, and everybody's going to know her. Everybody's going to say, oh, that's the young lady that negotiated that contract. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like until this offseason, had you ever really heard of her? No. Like, great job. And the biggest, like, the most important thing you can do is get the player the contract they wanted. And she did. She got the contract her player wanted almost to a T. Great job. She's probably number 3 on my list of people that I would be killing myself to talk to. Who's 1? Bo Jackson. Yeah. Who's 2? Barry. Yep. Same. Just because I want to see if Barry Bonds actually knows who you are. You were teammates. I wonder if he just says, who the hell is that guy? I played with him? Right. I do have a picture of him with me in my room, in my office, with his arm around me, smiling. So he might be smiling because he might have gotten confused who I am. At the same time, he did say my name. So I feel like I'm sorry. Rachel Luba would be 4 because I want to talk to Ichiro. Ichi! Yes. Since he's, no longer playing and he can actually admit now that he speaks English, it would be nice to actually talk to him. Fluent English. Fluent. No, I remember talking to somebody one day and asking, what are the odds we can get Ichiro? And the person told me, all right, here's how we can make this happen. Ichiro is in the airport on the way back to Japan, never coming back, and I give him the phone, maybe he'll talk to you in English. Maybe. Yeah, maybe he might say a word or two. Yeah. No, but I look back at Rachel Luba and I'm like, man, like she did a great deal. She pulled it out and she nailed it. Like I got to give her a lot of credit. Like she did what a lot of people didn't think initially could be done. Again, though, she did have that perfect client at that perfect time, wanting the perfect deal. I mean, how many times? I mean, teams had to be salivating. Wow, like we got a Cy Young winner wanting like a short-term 1-year, 2-year deal. Teams had been salivating at that. It's exactly what they want. See, I don't know if that many teams are salivating because it's so much money that you only had 3 or 4 teams that legitimately could go after them. I mean, you had the Mets, you had the Dodgers. I was speculating on the Angels. The Yankees weren't in it. They were never in it from the beginning. Yeah, but you never know that. Like, you never know that. Like, they might have actually been in it with really playing that they weren't. But at the same time, here's what it is, though. Every single team, I guarantee you, had the conversation, can we afford this? Can we make this happen? Can we do it? Do we want to do it? Where Whereas a lot of players, when they're like, oh, well, I want a 10-year, $300 million deal, three-quarters of the teams immediately just say, just can't even do that. Like we can't even even entertain the conversation. When a player walks in and says, man, I want a 1-year, 2-year deal. Yeah, shitload of money. At the same time, every team goes, ooh, even the small market teams go, man, like, can we make that money up? Like, can we sell enough jerseys? Can we get enough fans in the seats 1 year to make it worth this? And a lot of teams, I guarantee you, started running a lot of numbers and started going down and started figuring out how can they market this to make that money. Where in the past, a lot of teams go, we can't lock our team up. We can't do this. We can't like lose that much money on the back end for the couple years of success.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I mentioned it in the open, Mets fans, they're sour. I don't want to get into the Mets too long because we know that whenever I talk, it's all about the Mets.
Yes.
Here's the bottom line.
Mets.
And I'm sorry for that. However, Met fans, don't be too upset. If you got Bauer, there was no way that you were going to be able to sign Conforto. You were going to be able to sign Syndergaard. You were able to give that long-term deal that we desperately need to give to Lindor. So just chill out. Don't worry. It's Bauer after all. It's a guy who threw the ball into the outfield over the outfield wall. I mean, let's, relax for a sec.
And if you really want him, he'll be available in 2 years.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't feel too down. Everyone wanted him. They wanted the name. They think, and I honestly, it would have catapulted you on another level of competitor in the AL East and in Major League Baseball. At the same time, you didn't necessarily need him. And he'd make you better, but you're still not that far off.
All right. That's enough Bauer talk. Although I relished that wonderful, spot where you were saying, James, you were absolutely right. But, if anybody wants to see me determine where he was going, weeks ago when nobody even thought that 40 million was a possibility, they can go to our YouTube channel, They can subscribe. They can hit the notification bell so they never miss any of my other predictions that always come true because I am the guru of prognostication. Yes, I said it again just to piss you off, and I love doing that. And, of course, you can go back and watch some of our previous videos. You can watch interviews with Larry King, interviews with Ken Griffey Jr., Tom Glavine. We had a whole bunch of great guys in the past, so make sure you check that out. Now, there are a lot of other free agents that I want to talk about, but before we do that, I want to go to our guy, Mr. Andrew Bogusch, who is about to induct yet another man into the Hall of Excellence. Take it away, Andrew.
Hello again, I'm Andrew Bogusch, and the doors to the Hall of Excellence are open once again. If you don't know by now, this is where me and James and DA give some love to those who couldn't get themselves into Cooperstown. We haven't confirmed yet, though, if this makes them feel any better about that. This week's honoree is a man who many think should be in the Hall of Fame, but never got more than 28% of the vote while on the ballot, and is now at the mercy of the Veterans Committee. If there was a facial hair wing in Cooperstown, this guy's mustache would be first ballot. And on a personal note, it is awfully hard for me to be nice to a Yankee, but I've got no choice here. Don Mattingly was as good as anybody in the majors in the mid to late 80s. Over a 6-season stretch from 84 through 89, he led the majors in slugging percentage, extra base hits, and RBI. This stretch included the 85 AL MVP, runner-up next season, and an 8-game homer streak in 87, something only 2 others have done. Mattingly was certainly on pace for Cooperstown until his back intervened. Starting in 90, Mattingly hit 300 only once and never topped 17 homers or 86 RBI over his final 6 seasons. He also never benefited from a Yankee postseason run, his team's only making 1 postseason appearance, and that was in 95. In all, Mattingly's resume includes a .307 lifetime average, over 2,100 hits, and 9 Gold Gloves. Some of his numbers are definitely better than those in Cooperstown, but others just don't cut it, which is why, for now, Don Mattingly only has us here in the Hall of Excellence.
What do you think, Ards? Your former manager, Donnie Baseball, the newest member of the Hall of Excellence. You got any good Donnie Baseball stories?
He was retired long before I was playing, but obviously as a manager, I was there with the Dodgers. God, what was that, like 2015 maybe? I was there in spring training. Let me think. Okay, I think I could say this, but like one of the the only times I've ever actually yelled at a manager was in Donnie's office. Andrew Freeman was in the office. It was when I got cut with the Dodgers in spring training. I got sent down to the minors. And that was like the only time I pounded the table. I was pissed. Well, what pissed me off, okay, this was kind of BS. When you sign a player and you're telling them why you want to sign them, and you kind of give the terms on like what it'll take for that player to make to the big leagues. And if you don't hold up your end of the bargain, like that's kind of BS, right? Like I sat there, I signed with them because I thought I had a really good opportunity. They told me basically, Donnie said, beat these 5 guys out. If you outpitch these 5 players, I won't say who those 5 players are, but if you outpitch them, you'll earn a job. And I said, cool, man, done. And I went in, I kicked ass. I outpitched them up and down every single day, outworked them, outpitched them, and I still got sent down. And I thought it was absolute BS. And so I basically just pounded the table, yelling at him like, I held up my part of the bargain, hold up yours. And that's one of those things when I went to the Blue Jays that I told myself I would never do. I wouldn't lie to a player. I would tell them the truth. Even if it hurt me, I would tell them the truth. Now, there's certain things you can't tell them, but you can still tell them without saying it, right? Like there's certain things like, hey, like that decision's out of my hands. Or, hey, like there's other things, there's other people that are part of this decision, but I think this. Now, that was the only time I've ever yelled at a manager, or I guess at a GM.
I can't even imagine you yelling at anybody. I've never seen you get upset. What I would do to have video footage of you pounding your fists like a gorilla on Donnie Baseball's desk.
I said, I told him, I said, this is BS, right to their faces. And I said, I will respect your decision. I will still work my ass off. I'll still go down to the minor leagues. I will be the hardest working player you have in the minor leagues. I'll earn my way back. But this is BS because you're not standing up for what you told me. And I said, but again, it's not my decision to make. It's your decision. But next time when you sign a player, tell them the truth and stand behind it. Like, if it's not the truth, don't like. If you can't stand behind it, don't say it.
You know what? Now I'm happy that Mr. Burns made him shave his sideburns.
You love it. You bring that up all the time. That's like your favorite Simpsons.
Well, I love The Simpsons, but come on, that was the greatest episode of all time. You had Mike Scioscia, you had Steve Sachs, you had
Griffey, right? Clemens. Yeah.
Clemens was clucking like a chicken. It was fantastic.
Did you have Mark McGuire? Was he on it?
No, McGuire wasn't there.
Okay. That's a great episode. That's hilarious.
Jose Canseco.
Pretty good team.
Yeah, pretty damn good team, especially for a nuclear power plant softball team. All right. Other than Bauer, a few other guys might have signed, so I want to talk about them real quick. And to me, the biggest name, although he's not the most productive player anymore, has to be Yadier Molina. He's going back to the Cardinals, 1 year, $9 million. Ards, what do you think? I know you're a big fan of Molina.
I'm a huge fan. Like, I've always been a big fan. Listened to the last couple episodes. I think this is a huge deal for them. I think it's one of those deals they kind of had to make. I feel like when you're looking at their catching situation, you got to do something. And at the same time, it shows that they're still wanting to make a run for it. Like, they're still wanting – like, we've seen them make moves, obviously bringing in Arenado. Like, we know they've got the players. Now, like, they're starting to fill the gaps. They're starting to get the guys – that win championships, the guys that will go to playoffs. Like, bringing him back is one of those little check marks they have to make. And I guarantee, like, I think a lot of teams should have done it, should have brought him in. He was probably had a ton of deals on the table, but wanted to go back to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals probably gave him, I mean, I think they gave him a great deal.
I don't know how many teams are looking for a catcher that old, but you know what? For me, I want to see Yadier Molina finish with the Cardinals, get his swan song, go across the league, get the gifts a la Big Papi, a la Jeter. And I know he's not that kind of a player. He hasn't been marketed like that. But for me, I look at Yadi, he's a Hall of Famer without a doubt. Yeah. You played with him. You pitched to him. Tell me about him.
Well, like you said, I'd love to see that, like, go across the league, have that final last season where he's kind of getting like announced at every stadium, but he won't. He's not going to get the same thing like those guys got. They, like you said, Major League Baseball marketed those guys so hard that they had to do it. They had to make a big deal out of the retirement, the whole every season, every trip, every road game, like making a big deal out of it, giving him gifts everywhere. He's not going to get that, but at the same time, he's probably meant the same to baseball on the field and off the field as far as like players and continuing the game. I'm sorry, but like he's the benchmark that every catcher is going to be up against. He's the guy. And like he brought it into Latino, he brought it to American. Like there was no line there, where a lot of times there's that line between Latino and American players as far as like you grow up, you like American, you know, but like nowadays, like kids want to grow up and be Yadier if they're a catcher, like, because like he's maybe the best catcher of all time. Like it's arguably best defensive catcher of all time, maybe, but
better than Mike Piazza.
Slightly. You can actually throw off-speed pitches to him. But it's one of those deals, like he's not going to get the recognition across the league like he should. But man, like within the game, they know it. He's an absolute stud.
Tell me a David Aardsma, Yadier, Molina interaction. Yeah,
so I only played with him one time. And it wasn't a regular season. So spring training in 2013 or something, 2014 maybe, I don't even know anymore. It's so old. But I was in spring training with the Indians, and I get cut like the last like week of spring training. It's basically there's a cool rule with like older players after a certain amount of years in the big leagues. If the team is going to keep you on the roster that last week of spring training, they have to pay you like $200,000, which is cool. Kind of gets money in your pocket. And the team basically shows you like, hey, man, like we really want you here. But a lot of players get released then. And so I got released because I wasn't going to make the roster. I wasn't going to make the team. And so I went to the Cardinals with like the last game or last two games of spring training. So I went there and like I flew in and like had to pitch almost like same day. I think it was like the same day. And I go in, I'm having kind of a tough inning, but I'm getting through it. And I needed like one pitch to get out of it. And Yadi came out and he goes, there's like 2-2 count. He goes, we're going to throw a changeup right here. You're going to throw it down and we're going to get a swing and miss. He goes, inning over. And I go, hell yeah. I didn't say hell yeah. I think it said F yeah. And then I sat there and I threw it, and I'll never forget this, man. It was like one of those cool moments. And I'm like about to let go of the ball, and I let go, and then all I hear is yeah, and a perfect pitch. God, I think it was like a ground ball or like a swing and miss, but like I could see him like cheering for me. And I never felt a connection like that so quick. Like the closest probably at the catcher was Jason Varitek with Boston. Like having that just like that like real, like he's the captain, he's the man, like he's helping you out. But it was like that. And like I envy every Cardinals player that got to go through that system and play with him for years. And like Cardinals pitchers tend to stay Cardinals pitchers, right? Like it's a weird thing. Guys tend to stick around there a long time. And I'm jealous that those guys got to throw to them for forever, but they became better players and better pitchers because of their catcher, without a doubt. And I had AJ Przinsky for 3 times in my career. So I feel bad. Like, I want Yadi. Like, that's BS. I want Yadi.
I like AJ.
You're going to like him. He was my catcher, though.
This is the reason why I love doing the show with you, because there are so many teams that didn't want you that you got to play with all these great players.
Like, not a whole lot of guys know me, but I tend to know a lot of guys. I tend to have experience with a lot of guys. Here's a funny AJ story. So I'm sitting there, and I'll never forget this. I was with the White Sox, and you're telling him, good catcher, right? Like, great catcher. So I was pitching – and I'm young. Like, it's my second year in the big leagues, like my 3rd full season ever in pro ball. And I'm pitching, and like I know I got a good fastball, and I got a fastball up as my pitch. And he keeps calling like slider, and I'm like, no, slider. And I go, no. And he stands up and he goes, whatever, just throw that fastball. Let's go. And he yells this in front of the hitter, and I'm like, dick. Like, I have to throw a fastball.
But this is why I loved AJ Przinsky, because he's that guy. Can we get him on the show? I got to find AJ Przinsky somehow.
You know what? Let's do this. We can get him. I got his number. Let's get him on the show, and just to wear me out, because I want to hear all the BS stories from his mouth, because he wore me out. He was the guy that made me that rookie. Like, he put me in my place. I could not walk without messing it up somehow. Like, I couldn't sit right because I messed up. Whatever I did, I wasn't sitting wrong, or I was sitting in the wrong place, where I should be standing. If I was standing, I should be sitting. And he let me know every time. And I had to play with him 3 different times. Who does? I don't wish that upon anybody. I don't wish that upon Trevor Bauer.
Whoa, big words right there. Hey, do you remember a few weeks ago when you and Jim Duquette had a lot of fun busting my chops?
Yeah, it's good.
That's a bitch.
It makes me feel like
AJ comes on.
Makes me feel like a big man.
All right. Let's move on here. Yadier Molina went to the Cardinals. Another guy re-signed with his original team, Didi Gregorius. 2 years, $28 million. Very good signing for the Phillies, with the exception of they had him. They didn't win. Same thing when they had JT Realmuto. They're basically really building the team from last year that didn't win. Can
I give the Phillies like an applause? Like, congratulations on 85 wins. Like, they were 28-32 last year. Like, great.
Yeah.
Great job. Like, unless they're going to go out there and make some other signings, who cares? Like, you're just wasting money now. Like, you're so far behind some of the other teams. Like, we're going to talk about the Braves here in a minute, right? Because they made a good signing. Like, what are we trying to accomplish here? What is our end goal? Like, we said this again with Realmuto. Like, great signing. You need him. Great signing with Didi. Like, you need him, but you need other guys. You need more than that. And, like, if I'm Bryce Harper, like, I'm saying, yeah, great move to get us back to where we were last year, which was below mediocre, and pretty far below in their own division. You know, like, you need more than this. So what are we going to do for the Phillies? We got to look in the mirror and say, cool, we just spent a bunch of money to get back to where we were, and to probably still be behind on where they were last year. Like, we need more. I wonder if the Phillies would be willing to do a deal where we gave them Syndergaard and Stroman for Wheeler back. I would do that in a heartbeat, FYI. You're crazy. You're crazy. But truthfully, the Phillies, they can't beat the Mets right now if the Mets are firing on all cylinders. They can't beat the Nationals, I don't think. I think they'd be competitive at best. But no, let's not forget the Nationals won the World Series 2 years ago. Let's not forget this. Yeah, I mean, they still have a couple of great pitchers in Washington. And, hey, guess what? Marcell Ozuna is going back to the Braves. He signed a 4-year, $64 million deal. So I don't see how they're going to be able to compete with them either. Well, outside of what? Outside of the Dodgers and the Padres, they're the best team in baseball. Or the best team in the National League. Let's say National League. Right? Like, you have them better in all. Forget about my fandom for a second. You have them better than the Mets? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think up and down every day of the week, I'm picking them. Yeah, you got DeGrom, but I'm not crazy about the Braves rotation, but that lineup. Yeah, I mean, I'd put my money on that lineup every day versus the Mets lineup every day, like every day of the week. Now, I like the Mets rotation, but at the end of the day, like, when you're looking at that, like, the Braves like roster right now, like, it's great. Like, you got a great roster, and I really like the Ozuna signing. I like bringing him in. Markakis is gone. Inciarte, like, what is he? We don't even know. He batted 190 last year. Like, I like bringing him back, even if, like, some people think Ozuna is going to be DH. We don't know, right? We have no idea what's going to go on with the DH. But I don't care. Like, at worst, then you treat it like a regular league team. Put him in left field. Put him in right field. He'll be fine. You know? Well, for 2021, there's no DH, and that's what worries me about that deal. You know, Ozuna is supposed to be a DH. At least that's what a lot of people are saying. But that's not when he got out of the Marlins. That's not what he was, right? Like, he was a position player. Like, yeah, he's a DH on that team, but, like, in that American League, he'd be in left field.
Okay, fair enough. I'll refer to you. You're the expert. All I can figure out is where people are going to end up and how much they're going to get paid.
I'm looking at this and going, okay, Freeman, Albies, Swanson, like you got Ozuna, Acuna, like I'm not really like worried. Like give up a couple runs, like a couple more runs than you normally give up. But like at the end of the day, like you're gonna be putting up a lot of runs. Like I really like that lineup. I like what they're doing. They're keeping like a good, strong core together, and they're adding. They stayed the same, but their same is pretty damn good.
Hey, what do you think about the moves that the Rays made? They got Chris Archer back on a 1 year, $6.5 million deal.
I love it. Now, if we're talking Phillies, great deal. Bring him in. You know what, Phillies? Sign everybody. Sign every single guy you get. Sign every washed-up pitcher, everybody that has an arm that's healthy. Sign them, even if they're not healthy. Sign them.
Sign David Ardsma.
Right. Exactly. I'll take it. But the Archer deal, I love that for the Rays. Goes back home, goes where he belongs. Like he that's where he was good. He's going to go right back to it. Was it Kyle Snyder, I believe, is a pitching coach down there. Like he knows them. They have a reputation. I don't know if he'll ever be able to fix them, get them back. At the same time, man, like he's coming off what is it, thoracic outlet syndrome? Whatever he's coming off of.
I believe so.
Yeah, like we'll see if he comes back. But if he's ever going to come back, that's where he's going to come back at, right? Like he's going to come back at where he feels comfortable, where he's home. I love the deal for the Rays. It's like a no-lose, and that's what the Phillies need to be looking at these things like. Sign the guys that, like, it's a no-lose situation. Okay, you sign him for $6 million. You stick him in the minors until he proves that he's ready to go, or you put on the DL for however long, right? And then you do that for like 4 or 5 guys, and you know what? If you don't like him, get rid of him, trade him, release them. You don't really lose a lot of money. At the same time, you're spending too much money to not be taking chances.
$6 million is a lot of money if you're on the Pirates or the Indians
or the Rays, right? Yeah. But like at the same time, like they're putting a lot of money on a guy that obviously has had a lot of like success there. But, like, they're taking a chance on him, and I like it. But I like what they're doing because they're taking shots in the dark. And, like, the Blue Jays have done that the last couple of years. And then what they do is if they're not in it, they trade them. But, again, the Rays were the best team in the American League last year, best team in the best division in baseball in the American League East last year. And they're making moves to bring in veteran, successful pitchers. Like, they're getting better while other teams are not. Like, how if I'm the Phillies, I'm kicking myself in the ass saying, like, we could have had Archer for 6. We got the same at 85 wins without doing anything. Like, come on, you got to take those chances.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I wanted to mention this before we wrap up the show. Did you see this garbage where Major League Baseball is going to kind of mess with the baseball yet again, try to make it less bouncy?
But did you get what you just said there, though? There's a little part of that. That's a catch. It's the catch. And Major League Baseball said this. They're messing with the baseball again. Remember, though, they came out and said they never messed with the baseball. That was their standing for years. When there's statistical evidence, like it's proven that they messed with the baseball, and now they're coming out like, "Oh, we're gonna change the ball again." Like, wait, what do you mean again? I thought we didn't change the ball.
No, they did in the dead ball era.
Right, and so
that's when they mean again.
The other side of this too is like, are they making the ball white? Are they doing something else? Because there's got to be a trick with this. Like, why is deadening the ball going to help the game, right? I get it. Less home runs, more balls in play. At the same time,
says that?
That's
Wait
not
a minute. Hold on a second. Let me cut you off right there.
Yep.
What do you mean more balls in play? Because now everybody's trying to be a home run hitter. They're all trying to get that uppercut swing. They're trying to get that launch angle. Yeah. So there may be less home runs, but they're not going to stop striking out because they've changed the way that they swing.
So the less balls in play is 5% of the home runs are predicted to not be home runs anymore. So those are more balls in play. Again, though, a long fly ball, I don't think too many people give a crap about. But that's the key, is you just said it. it's not going to stop strikeouts. So what are they doing? What else are they doing? What is the other little trick to this? How is the ball going to move when it comes out of the pitcher's hand? That's the thing, though, I want to find out. We're going to have to test. Like, first of all, I think it's absolute BS that they're changing the ball again. Okay. It's for the pitcher's benefit, maybe. Don't get tricked by that. There's something else here that we don't know. If the ball doesn't spin as fast, like, that's way to the hitter's benefit. And, like, so there's going to be something that we're going to find out. Some smart people are going to do some tests on the new ball, and we're going to see something else. Just this is David Art's prediction zone. Your prediction zone on free agents and signings and all that BS. I'm predicting zone is there's another trick to this. I'm conspiracy theory predicting zone. There's something to this that we don't know yet because they need to stop strikeouts. That's the bigger problem. People kind of like home runs. People don't like strikeouts as much. Nobody likes strikeouts. They're fascists, except for me. The problem is people like home runs because you got to stand up and cheer. You know, and like you got to put up the loud noises. Don't get me wrong. Like too many home runs, too many strikeouts ruin the game. But there's something else here. Just wait. Let's watch strikeout rates. Let strikeout rates go down a little bit.
I'm just wondering if these balls aren't as tight as they were before, are these pitchers going to be able to grip the ball a lot better?
No, but that's going to be thing though. It's not like that. Don't think about it that way. It's like it's minuscule differences, and you're not going to notice on the outside of the ball. It's just going to be the inside when you actually make contact. So like the ball's still going to feel the same on the outside. Okay. My thing though is like, even they talk about in the article, I think it was the KBO where they made the ball a little bit bigger and a little bit deader, and like there was a huge reduction in home runs and strikeouts. So it's I don't think they're going to change the size of the ball or how it feels, just the inside of it. At the same time, though, I bet changing the inside affects the spin.
Why don't we just make it a sponge ball and the thing can just bounce all over the place, get crazy hops?
Yeah, one of those balls with the little like reaction balls. Like
that would be the best. That's how you make it. You want to make baseball fun again? Do that. That would be the best.
I bet they're going to make it white. I bet they're going to make it tacky. I bet it's not going to spin as much. Those are the three things that like really going to affect. Like that's the one thing the pitchers have really done is like they've really learned how to throw harder, like because we've developed velocity, topvelocity.com, and at the same time we have learned how to spin it better. And so if you take away those two advantages, like you can't really take away the velocity, but you can take away the spin. And like lower spin rates are less movement, less late movement, which equals better contact.
All right, one more thing I want, better contact.
Better contact. I caught myself.
Well done, my friend.
Can we cut that? Nope.
Nope. One more thing that I want to discuss before we get to Jackass of the Week, and I got a doozy for Jackass of the Week this week. A couple of your former teammates retired recently.
Yes.
Petey, Dustin Pedroia, and Daniel Murphy.
Yes.
Any good stories for either one of those guys?
Daniel Murphy, the second best NHL player on the Mets behind.
And who's the best NHL player you've ever played?
You. Without a doubt. Like, hey guys, I thought I was decent. I thought I could hold my own, dude. Different level. Anyways, and then Pedroia. The cool thing about Dustin Pedroia, let me go back to Daniel Murphy real quick. No, awesome guy. I loved him. And a great teammate, a lot of fun. Always questioned himself, though. Like, didn't quite trust himself at all times, especially defensively. Like, he was a lot better than what he always said he does. And I remember I told you the story of this. We used to write Luongo. How do you say it? Luongo. The goalie.
Roberto Luongo.
Yes, we'd write it on his glove because whenever he was that goalie, like he always had a great game, and so we'd write it on his glove. And then he started playing really good defensively, so like he believed that like he was like this goalie. Wait,
are you talking about Roberto Luongo or Henrik Lundqvist?
Luongo, like for the Canucks.
Oh, okay, Luongo, yes.
Yes. And then so he started playing really well once we actually took his glove, started writing out on his glove. And then Petey, man, the cool thing about Petey, I've never played with a player so confident. Like, yeah, you can say cocky and all that BS. Like, no, like he truly willed himself to be the best in baseball. And he showed it. He was MVP, so he was the best. And so God, it was like every single day you show up and he'd be like, hey, who's pitching today? And he'd be like, I don't give a shit. Laser show. Just be ready for it. He goes, go get a seat. Be ready for the laser show. every single game. And it was like, dude, like, I'm going to step on this field and I'm going to kick his ass. And he would say it, and then he would do it. And it was awesome. And like I remember a play, God, this is 2008 with the Red Sox. We were playing in Tampa Bay, and I think you might even be able to see it, on some old archive VHS tape. But there's a ground ball, and it's a bounces up on the turf, and I turned around and over my head, right, and I couldn't quite make the play because coming off the back of a mound is a crazy. You're running straight downhill while trying to look backwards, and I miss it. And he's just like right there and makes this amazing like bare hand play, gets the out. And I just look up, I'm like, where did you come from? Like, this should be a runner on first. Like, and like, there's so many times where he's just there. He worked so hard. He was always there. His baseball IQ, like when people talk about baseball IQ, it was through the roof. And he got the most out. Right. he got the most of his ability, man. Like, he played so hard. He swung hard. He threw the ball hard. Like, he never took a play off. He never took a minute off, never took a throw off. He tried to hit a home run every single swing. And those are players that are tough, man. You don't like playing against those guys. That's what makes those guys world champions. Like, that's why he is so good. Like, he never took a play off. And you can like it, you can hate it, whatever. But fuck, I want those guys on my team. And I hate playing against them.
Think about the guys, the leaders on that team, just for a second. Varitek, Poppy, and Petey.
Yeah. And then, like, do you even want to get to the bullpen?
No, I don't think we want to talk about the bullpen right now.
Like, Papelbon was a leader in the bullpen, right? Like, but like, if you look at it, like how good those guys were and how, like, yeah, Papelbon's crazy, but at the same time, like, dude, the guy's a stud, right?
Yep. It's another guy we got to get on the show somehow.
Okay, here we go. Dustin Pedroia, 0 for 2. God, I feel good about myself right now. He is going to be a Hall of Famer. Is he a Hall of Famer?
No.
What does he got? 3 World Series titles?
Doesn't matter. Not dominant long enough to be. You know who he is? He's Don Mattingly.
MVP, 3 World Series titles.
Not a Hall of Famer.
Is he Rookie of the Year?
I don't know if he was Rookie of the Year, but I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He was injured for so many years in his career that he just didn't get to accumulate those numbers.
3 4-time All-Star, 5 4-time All-Star, Gold Glove, Rookie of the Year, MVP, 3-time World Series champion, led the league in runs 2 years, hits 1 year, doubles 1 year.
What's his lifetime average?
3. Oh, that's OBS. OBP. I was about to give you 299. Yeah,
299.
1,800 hits. 1,800 hits. 140 home runs. Yeah, he's a Red Sox Hall of Famer. He's the Hall of very, very, very excellent.
He'll be in the Hall of Excellence one day, but he's not a Hall of Famer. And I liked Pedroia, but can't do it.
It's true. You give him 3 more years of just good average ball.
Yeah.
He might, yeah, that's a good point.
All right, DA, it's my favorite time of the show. Jackass of the week. Who do you got, pal?
Okay, so, all right. I know New York's a little different. I live in Phoenix. They're a little different.
Yeah.
There's a house in London, okay?
Okay.
If you had the choice to live in a house that was 6 feet wide, would you do it?
If I had the choice, no, I certainly wouldn't. But again, you have to remember, in Manhattan, you get a shoebox for like $2,000 a month.
It's a shoebox, man. It is. They're selling a house in London that is 6 feet wide for $1.3 million.
Okay, what's special about this house that it's worth 1.1 million plus?
It's 1,000 square feet.
So that's it. No special story. Like,
I can't even fit. I can't even sleep in it. I can't even sleep lengthways. Width-wise. I came and sleep in a freaking house. Nothing.
Princess Diana didn't lose her virginity in there. Nothing like that.
I can't deny it. I can't say she didn't. Let's put it that way. I can't say. Have you ever seen her virginity get lost and her in that house at the same time? I don't know.
All right, so who's the jackass? The realtor? The owner? Who?
Like anybody that's actually willing to pay $1.3 million for a 6-foot wide house. That's the jackass. I couldn't imagine like bringing somebody home and be like, hey, check out my place. Like, right? Watch the wall. Yeah, both walls. Watch both walls.
Well,
don't hit that one. What?
It depends. Is this house like as tall as the Empire State Building? Like, does it have like 97 levels?
Three stories.
Levels.
3 levels. So you mean like literally the staircase probably takes up the entire 6 feet. What do you?
That's just weird, dude.
Yeah, but somebody's going to end up paying it. Somebody's going to end up living there. Somebody's going to end up being cramped and miserable and paid $1.3 million. That's the jackass, whoever that person is.
So this is a preemptive jackass.
This is a preemptive jackass. I'm sitting there like 6 feet wide. You can't even lay down. I can't have a couch. You can't even you're too close to the TV.
Maybe some people, you have to remember the English are better people than us. Maybe they're going to sit there, drink tea, and read books. Maybe
I don't know if they're better. I don't know if they're better, but they cuss a lot better. Their curse words are really impressive.
Yeah, bollocks is a cool one.
all I know is what is a Euro trip? You watch Euro Trip and watch and there's a lot of really good curse words at the beginning. And Scotty didn't know.
All right, as fascinating as that one was, I've got you beat so bad this week. Do you know who Tessica Brown is?
No.
She's also known as Gorilla Glue Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, a young lady, she decided, hey, I'm out of hairspray, so I'm going to go grab some Gorilla Glue and use that, something about Mary, fix my hair. And a few weeks later, she still couldn't get it out. But here's although she is a jackass, she started a GoFundMe to try to fix her hair.
No.
And she was trying to raise $1,500.
Oh God, what did she get? I guarantee it's a lot more than that.
She raised $13,000 in one day, and she even has a Beverly Hills plastic surgeon named Dr. Michael Obang fixing her hair for free.
You know what? This is the problem with America. And this is not even America. This is the problem with social media and where our lives have gone. Like, we're rewarding this. We're rewarding ultimate jackassery, stupidity. And I'm sorry, don't put Gorilla effing glue on your hair. But you know what? You know what we're going to do for the person that does it? We're going to give them money, give them hair. Surgeon's going to go give them publicity. I'm looking at an article right now. I just pulled her name up. I didn't know that was her name. And it's essence.com. She isn't the Gorilla Glue girl. She's a person who deserves empathy. No, she doesn't. She's an idiot. Just a dumb ass. There's products. Pay for them. Reward everybody else. And you know what? I heard, is she trying to sue Gorilla Glue?
Yeah, she's trying to sue Gorilla Glue because she's a moron.
You know what? And that's a lost opportunity. It's a lost opportunity because she's going to try to sue them and get money out of it instead of going to Gorilla Glue and saying, let's do a fucking commercial. Let's make some money on this. I was an idiot. Let's do a funny commercial with me where the gorilla comes out and is like, no. No, it stops her from doing it. And then actually does something good. I don't know. You can create something good about it. God.
Didn't she watch There's Something About Mary? There's other things that you can put into your hair to get it to be sticky, and all she had to do was call Mickey Callaway.
You went there twice. I tried to ignore it as hard as I could.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm going to beat a dead horse until I get you to respond to it.
Oh.
But before we go, I do want to make everybody aware at the fact that now the show is officially on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. So what I want everybody to do, I want you to subscribe. And since I really have no self-esteem, I'd really appreciate it if everybody put a 5-star review and talk about how wonderful we are, because really this is the only thing that makes me smile. I have a pathetic existence. So please, if you have any sort of empathy, sympathy, something fee, to be nice on Apple Podcasts and say something nice about me, please.
Or start a GoFundMe page for James. He needs it.
No. We started a GoFundMe page and we didn't even get a single dollar.
No,
that really upsets me.
I thought we got one.
No, I don't think we got $1 when we tried to put Kyrie Irving in outer space to prove that the Earth was not flat.
That was pretty.
But a girl puts Gorilla Glue in her hair. Hey, guess what? She got $13K.
You gotta admit, that was pretty funny. She tried to send Kyrie Irving to space to see that the world is round.
And with that being said, that'll do it for this episode of The Bullpen with DA. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate you listening and watching. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you follow our social media everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, and you can see that beautiful DA face more often, and I promise I won't put any pictures of myself. So until next week, we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.